Hello, humans. That was weird. It sounded like a robot, like Bender,
Yo,
trying to
quit
kill
doing
all
that.
humans. I know.
Yes.
You were talking like a robot last week too. What the hell, dude?
Mhm.
Finally, my secret is teased. It's
Yeah.
Rob here with Not a Robot Podcast, DC Comics Review Show number 138. We're 1/9 away from the beginning of the DC universe.
It's true.
That was a weird little. I don't know if that's an Easter egg. I'll call it an Easter egg pocket. This is the world's greatest comic show about the world's greatest superheroes, and with me, as always, is Brandon.
Hello, everyone. This episode is sponsored by The Green. I don't have a slogan to go with that. I just wanted to let you know.
That's it's a hard sell. It's a hard sponsor to get, but I'm happy they're here.
I don't think
And
we had a
Josh.
choice, Rob.
Yeah, we really
The
Yeah,
elemental
man.
forces, they didn't really give us an option here.
I just wanted to reiterate, man, that our sponsor is definitely the Green. They're good people, man. We love the Green.
Also, they paid me a lot of money to say that.
Loads of money.
Because they're The Green.
Their paper. Wait, that's
Parliament.
illegal. Speaking of the
That got
green,
no
man,
laughs.
did you know that there's this car, and
As it
runs
should.
on water, man?
Oh my god.
Yeah. No, I caught
See this
your money
box.
joke. That was
Subpar. You could say it.
that was
I can
it was
take it.
good. It was so good I had to just like
Yeah.
silently cringe.
Yeah, you had to try not to walk off a cliff.
Yeah. So that being said, if y'all want to get in touch with us and tell us how much you hate our bad jokes, email us at comics@notarobotcodcast.com, and you can tweet us all your own bad jokes at notarobotcomics, and send me pictures on Instagram at NAR Comic Books. And if you feel like supporting us, visit buymeacoffee.com/NAR podcasts, where you can get access to our Discord server where we're always talking, except this week. I'm pretty freaking quiet,
Except
I gotta
this
say. Yeah, I don't know. I think everybody's busy. There hasn't been a lot of discussion, except for the news. We've been talking a lot about news. There's been a lot of news, but before we get into the news, this week's books. It's quite the lineup. We have Batman Inc. number 6, Wildcats number 5, Harley Quinn screws up the DCU number 1, part of the Multiversity line. Superman Lost number 1, Lazarus Planet Revenge of the Gods number 1, Batgirls number 16, and Justice Society of America number 3, as well as a couple of honorable mentions, as is usually the case. Now, as mentioned, what's going on with the news? Personally first, gentlemen.
Personally first.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna put it out there, man. Let's take our laundry and let that stink out into the air. Brandon and I together collectively have a
God.
serious problem with Rob right now.
Yeah.
Like friendship is
for?
dangling in the air.
It's teetering on an edge right now.
For what possible reason could this be?
It's
see a
the
while
worst
back.
kinds of friends that are enablers, but it's also the
Yes.
worst kinds of friends that actively push you into nasty addictions.
Provokers.
The last I
You're
checked,
the
I only
people-
brought you guys joy.
You're the people that dare warn us about.
Mm. See, that's how it always starts. They say, "Oh, I'm just trying to help you." It's a positive thing, and then
Here,
all
man,
of a
take one
sudden
for
you
free.
have, yeah, exactly. Like, oh, it won't hurt you, and then all of a sudden you're out like $100 because you just had to have these 3 figures. You just couldn't resist, and I mean that literally.
See,
You just like could not resist.
Rob most recently
I hear
got
it.
me the death metal Wonder Woman, which is like, if you've listened to the podcast, you've heard me more than one occasion talk about how awesome it is. And I've since bought, or actually my wife did, she got me 3 more figures. I got Batman and Robin King, and I'm waiting for Superman, so I'll be able to build Darkfather too. Brandon was the was the first push Rob did. That was the first branch out into his invoking an addiction in the two of his co-hosts.
Yes. And to give
Didn't even
Rob the
do
benefit
anything.
of the doubt, it's not entirely his fault. It was a very conveniently timed deal, plus maybe some, I don't know, some pent up feelings about just figure collecting in general. Because I hadn't thought about it in a while, and then we were talking about the McFarlane figures, so I'm looking at them online, and now they're just kind of showing up in my recommended feed. And then lo and behold, what should show up one day but a grifter that is so wonderfully priced that it felt like it was a grift. So I just had to pull the trigger, and well, now here we are. It was the beginning of the end.
Speaking of bad jokes, I will reiterate, when you showed it off, I said, hey, that coal didn't cost much cash.
No, it didn't. Neither did the other two, which are coming on Saturday, which are also
Wait,
all your
two?
fault.
I
Yes,
only knew about
two.
one. What's
No.
the other one?
So I mentioned before we went on the air, and Josh, I'm sure I know you have. Whoa, sorry, my
Uh-oh.
keys fell. Josh,
Oh,
I know
you
you
were
have
playing
your
spoons.
stories as well. Yeah, but the problem with these figures and the problem with Rob, the enabler, is that
My
they're
new
just
new
so
god name.
incredibly well sculpted that it's really hard
Mhm.
not to just pull the trigger. And some of them
Yeah.
are quite reasonably priced. So earlier today, I was just kind of surfing through some of the figures, and I discovered that they had the Superman War World figure. Or at least I think it might be based on the one from Future State. I'm not entirely sure, but it's that same kind of like John Carter of Mars design. And it
Yeah,
was
I think
that, and then
I think it's titled the World's at War.
Yeah, it
design.
Oh
is
yeah,
the
yeah.
future state one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, I didn't even know that was a thing. So I saw it and I was like, I must have. I became green with envy. So green with envy, in fact, that I bought another figure, one that I had already seen, the Kyle Rayner one that Rob
Oh
had
yeah,
been
that's right.
parading around us, because that one is
Yeah.
also gorgeously sculpted. So now I have three,
Incredible.
or at least I will have
mention
three on Saturday. So there you
Yeah.
go. This is all your fault.
Yeah.
My Superman's supposed to show up sometime today. I was hoping it was going to be
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
I mean,
Before we
there's
start
worse
the
addictions
podcast.
to have, but like,
Oh, there's way
also,
worse,
I
yeah.
hate you.
Like honestly,
As
having
long
been
as my
through before,
tastes stay.
yeah.
See, it was easy to say no. I used to do it a long time ago, but it was easy to say no up until I had one in my
I know.
hand.
That's how it always starts. That's how addiction starts. You
and
just have one,
then
and you
I
can't
got it.
stop.
Yeah.
I got it. I
You're like,
opened the
"Oh,
package.
this is
It's
so
sitting there in the
good."
box. I'm like, this is good, man. This is so
Like,
cool.
this
Look
is
at
really
that
fucking
shit.
good.
I set it on my desk, and I'm like, man, I don't know. I'm in Discord talking about it, and Rob's like, well, you got to open it.
Like, because
Yeah.
I'm one of those guys that I'm not an inbox collector. I need to.
Oh, yeah,
like,
very
if it's
much
a
so.
toy, I'm gonna
Me
play
too.
with it.
Yeah.
Yep. So I take it
Yeah.
out. I snap the little rubber bands off of it. I get some bitch in my hands, and now it's over with. And I'm trying to decide if I want to do the Justice League or the Bat Family. And I don't mean like 4 members. I mean like all of them,
As much as possible.
as many as possible,
And with the Bat Family,
and
you
probably
can
the
get quite a
Nightfall
lot.
series too.
Yeah, you get all the Robins, Batgirl. I
And
think
there's gotta be a
Batwoman is
couple
out
of
there. Signal is
Fucking
there.
gold label Azrael and the gold label Scarecrow for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. Game over, man.
Game
Like,
Over, man.
I was gonna
And
say,
funny enough,
at least
the talking about the McFarlane toys, there's a gold label Wonder Woman in it that is 100% completely gold.
yeah. I was debating on giving you that one or the death metal one because I couldn't remember which one you talked about more, but I was pretty sure it was the death metal design.
The death metal one for sure, but I
Yeah.
thought that when I saw that one yesterday, I thought that was pretty interesting considering this week's books.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, very much. And that gold one I think is also part of death metal. I think that was like for the spin from the last issue.
Yes.
Yeah. Now take it for me though, after having been part of that like addiction, it's better than the TCG addiction. It's a hell of a lot cheaper.
Yeah, I imagine so.
Yeah. That one's not pretty. And it takes up so much more space. Yeah, and speaking of DARE, just what the hell was up with that acronym? I don't remember what the acronym is, but the only thing I can think of now is drugs are really excellent. And I don't think that's the message.
Really excellent, man.
I don't think that's the message they were trying to get across.
Yeah, I actually don't know. I mean, I know DARE, the D probably stands for drugs, but
you'd think.
that's all I got.
Yeah. I have no clue.
Drug and... Oh, man. Now I got... Come on now. That's just rude. Why are you going to do this to me? Now I got to look it up. What does DARE... No. DARE stand
Google
for?
says Drug Abuse Resistance Education.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Yeah. I think mine's easier to remember.
Yeah.
Drugs are really excellent, man.
Sounds like something.
We're kidding. We're not advocating the use of drugs.
No.
Just buy figures instead. It'll give you the
Yes.
same level of chemical reactions in your brain.
Comic books first, and then figures.
Yeah. This
Or at
public
least a
service
healthy mix
announcement
of
brought
both.
to you by Green Lantern number 87.
And casually write into McFarlane Toys and ask for all members of the Extended Justice League and the Extended Bat Family to be made
not
into
87.
figures.
Sorry, 70s. Now I'm getting my numbers confused. Is it 86 or 76?
Who, me?
I think
I'm
it's
79.
86. The drug issue.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
86 or
my God.
87.
86,
Something like
yeah.
that.
And 78 was John Stewart's first appearance, right? Or is it 80s? Yeah.
No, I think that was like 80 something.
80. So maybe
Yeah.
that was 87.
76. Yeah, 76 is the start of the Green Lantern, Green Arrow. Arc
Okay.
or
Yeah.
series.
So, right, John Stewart was 87. Drugs would have been 85, 86. Okay.
Mhm.
Damn. Okay. Yeah.
Indeed.
So I was close. I was close. Anyway, y'all get the point. Drugs are bad, man. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So as for news, in true DC fashion, they dropped some big news the day after we recorded last week. So we're a week behind. But in that week, there's also been a metric shit ton of other news to talk about. Is there anything specific you guys want to talk? Because I have it all listed here. And if there's anything you guys want to talk about first that's potentially on this list,
Well, we
feel
should probably
free,
get the
and then I
big one
can
out of the way.
fill
The
in the
one that
blanks.
I assume is gonna lead to some ranting from our esteemed colleague over here, and I think you know which esteemed colleague I'm talking about.
I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind leaving that to last,
Okay.
if that pleases the audience.
I figure we could do it now, so we can try and have
Rip
more
the fucking
positive
Band-Aid
news.
off.
Yeah, let's not even
Just-
beat around the bush.
Fair enough. All right, we'll jump right into that then. There is some smaller ones to talk about after, and yeah, okay. Before we get into that, there's one little piece that I saw today that was announced today. Start off with some interesting, fun news. Webtoons, the DC Webtoons, if y'all are a fan of those, they have announced that they are coming to print.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah,
Nice.
that I will have the dates. They're all coming later this year. It's Wayne Family Adventures, Zatanna and the Ripper, and Vixen NYC are all coming in physical editions. Wayne Family Adventures and Vixen are hitting shelves in August, with Zatanna and the Ripper landing in October.
You guys will like them. I read them as webtoons.
Yeah.
They were really good.
I haven't read a lot of them, but I've seen a couple of chapters here and there, and they are a lot of fun.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay, so the big news, and Brandon, just to be sure, you're talking about the thing that dropped last Friday, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Okay.
Dawn of DC has dropped a few more titles to come this year, and I imagine every month we'll probably get a few more teases of what's coming in the next week's solicits. And this time we are getting more looks at. We're getting new looks at Hawkgirl and Steelworks, as well as the relaunches for Wonder Woman and The Flash.
New
And
looks
the
at or new looks for Hawkgirl and Steel?
well, new both.
It doesn't seem
Steelworks
like
we already
new
knew
looks
about.
for. I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
maybe not so much in appearance, but just kind of like
yeah,
general position in the DCU.
yeah.
Gotcha.
Like when I say new looks at, I can say for Steelworks because we already knew about Steelworks. Hawk
Mhm.
Girl, I think, was not announced until last week, as far as I
Yes.
know. um,
Wait, what did you say?
but Hawk Girl,
What about her?
I don't think her book was announced up until last
Oh,
Friday.
her book. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah. As well as an updated look at the Dawn of DC timeline coming throughout the year. And if y'all remember from the last time, they had a tease with that Dawn of DC timeline. There was this little hints where if you increase the contrast on the image, the dark side of the page will be brightened, and you can see what's hidden in the shadows. And you got a glimpse at the Night Terrors event, which was announced last month, as well as an event called The Return of the Justice League. Well, that event is no longer shown on the timeline, but instead there is a slightly opaque image of Bobo the detective chimp holding what I am currently, and I think Brandon, you've decided on what you think it is. But I'm still currently divided between whether it's Golden Age Doctor Fate's helmet or Bronze Age Guardian's helmet.
Well, I
Kind of
seem
on the
to
fence. It
think
does
it
look
was.
more like Fate.
Yeah, I seem to think
Yeah,
it was the Golden Age Fate's helmet, which is
yeah,
interesting because obviously the current Fate, Khalid, has a very different design. So I wonder how
yeah.
that would factor in. But yeah, no, it's hard to say just yet.
And for those that haven't seen it, it's the half face helmet, so it only goes up to the nose. And there is two versions of the Golden Age helmet with the full face and the half face. And this one, Bobo is holding the half face helmet. So it's very, very interesting, and he's looking at it with a magnifying glass. So there's a lot of questions still to come, a lot of stuff to look at, a lot of exciting things. But beyond
Yeah.
that, the stuff we know about now, we'll start with the nice ones. And we'll go with Hawk Girl first. That is dropping,
Prolong
if I
this.
can. That's coming July 18th, and it's being written by Jedzia Axelrod, who has done a few of the um, young adult graphic novels with DC, as well drawn by Amanke Nohelpan. Uh, and Galaxy, I don't remember the subtitle for Galaxy, but Jesse Axelrod, I think, was the one that created and wrote Galaxy,
Mm.
the character Galaxy, will be making an appearance, they tease, in Hawk Girl. So
Cool.
that's something to look forward to. It's going to be interesting. The cover is
Wait,
gorgeous, by the way, I gotta say.
did you say who was on the Steelworks team?
Not yet. I'm about to get into that because
Okay, because
that
I
one
have.
is exciting.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
wanted. Well, I wanted you to say that, and also I wanted to make my joke that I already made on Discord because I need to
Oh,
recycle my
sweet.
jokes.
Steelworks that we knew was coming uh, earlier this year. At the beginning of the year, they announced Steelworks was coming, and now we have a cover and a creative team. It is being drawn. If I could find the damn name, Sammy
Steelworks is
Basri.
getting
Yep.
Steelworks is getting their own series.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
cool.
Yeah. I don't know if it is a mini. I feel like I saw
I'm
that it
going
was a
to
6 issue
assume,
mini,
yeah.
but it might be an ongoing. We'll see. Yeah, it is. It is drawn by Sammy Basri, art by Sammy Basri, and it is being written by Michael Dorn, who
Dorn.
yeah, who not only voiced
Yes.
Steel in Superman the Animated Series, but most famously played Worf in many Star Trek depictions. Deep Space Nine, Next
But
Generation.
most importantly, Next Generation.
Yeah.
But he was in DS9 for sort of like
Yeah.
the back half of that series.
I think he was in a couple of movies. I think he might have even made a few appearances in Voyager. I could be wrong.
Yeah, no, he was in all the next gen movies. I mean, well, I don't know about Generations, but I think I'm pretty sure he was in.
I think
I
all
don't
the
remember,
TNG
but
crew were
yeah,
Generations.
I know he was in Nemesis, and I think he was in
Yeah.
First Contact.
Yeah. So that is something to look forward to. I'm very excited about that. Michael Dorn
Definitely.
writing Steel
And
words.
also, I had completely forgotten that Michael Dorn was Steel in
Yeah.
the animated series. I actually, when you mentioned that, I went back and rewatched some of the episodes of Superman Toss, which are great, by the way. Such an underrated show. Just to kind of see, and yeah, sure enough, it was him.
So what was your joke? Did you say your joke?
Oh, my joke was it's very poor, but since there's a writer named JSA taking over Hawk Girl, and Michael Dorn is now writing Steelworks, my joke was that we're basically turning the DCU into DS9, which I have no problem with.
Yeah.
Because there's a character in DS9 named JSA Dax, who is basically one of the Trill characters that's on the DS9 base with the rest of the Starfleet crew. So yeah, that's fun.
Hey, whatever gets us a DC Universe version of Captain Sisko, I'm.
Oh god, that'd be so cool.
That'd be so freaking cool.
Yeah.
Though I would debate that
it could be the DC9, the new version of the Justice League.
Yeah. Well, I feel like we kind of have an Odo. I mean, well, we have characters that have the powers of Odo, but no one with the same personality.
I don't even know what Odo's powers are. I haven't watched Deep Space.
He was just like a. Oh yeah, no, he's just like a shapeshifter.
Oh okay, yeah.
Got it. DS9 is so good. Oh,
yeah.
Easily my favorite Star Trek show.
It was really good. Like TNG was good for the characters, but Deep Space Nine was good for the entire package.
Yeah. Oh, very much so.
Yeah. Right. So moving on from that, the next announcement: Wonder Woman is getting not only a new creative team but also a new #1. But they are following suit, it seems, with the Marvel status quo of putting legacy numbering on the books as well, which honestly I'm okay with. I've been saying for years they should just do that. If they're going to do #1s, at least do the legacy numbers too. Why not? So Wonder Woman #1 is dropping in July, and this is being written, much to Josh's excitement, written by Tom King with art from Daniel Sampere.
I know one of those things you're excited for.
Yeah, one of those things I'm excited for.
Obviously
Sampere
not
Mori
Sampere
for sure.
No, I was going to say it's not that.
I will recycle an old joke I once made about Tom King. I cannot wait to see Wonder Woman in 9 panels at once.
Jesus fucking Christ.
I feel like with Daniel Sampere, there may be less of that. I mean, we saw a couple 9 panels in Dark Crisis, so obviously he can do it. But with the kind of like action-centric book like this, I feel like he'll probably rely on that less.
Yeah, and Tom King he's kind of shied away from writing out 9-panel pages.
Yeah, no, I think
recently,
it was definitely less common in Strange Adventures, which was nice.
But it's back in Danger Street.
Is it like heavy in Danger Street though, or is it just like every so often?
It's not Rorschach heavy.
Yeah.
I mean, Rorschach 9 panels with Rorschach, I would have imagined was just
I guess that's
also
sort of
homage
sense.
to Watchmen.
Yeah, but his shit was like a fucking flip book. It went by so slow.
Yeah. All right, so that
motion.
is something to look forward to. Again, the cover looks amazing. And last but not least, The Flash, which I mentioned, is also getting the same treatment. Both Wonder Woman and Flash are hitting number 800 in July, and both are following suit. Their number 801 will just be issue number 1, as well as Flash is getting a brand new creative team, written by none other than Cy Spurrier with art from Mike Deodato Jr., to which we've there's a cover. I don't dislike everything Mike Deodato Jr. does, but some stuff I just have issue with, and the cover for Flash I kind of have issue with because Wally looks creepy.
It's terrifying.
That's
I
what I'm
joke.
saying.
Yeah.
Cy Spurrier
Yeah.
does fantasy creepy. I mean, he does. I mean, he's
It's not
that dark.
the eyeballs
Yeah.
in the
kind of
back are
guy.
cool. It's the face.
Yeah,
It's the
the
smile.
face. Oh my god, it's so terrifying. Like
It's
I
not
joked.
Cy
I was like,
Spurrier
if you see
terrifying,
that
it's just
running,
weird.
yeah, it's like if you see that running towards you, you run like
Yeah.
away. I don't want you to save me, Wally. Please,
But then you
let
remember it's the
literally anyone
Flash,
else.
and there's no escape.
Yeah. Oh
There's
god, I
nowhere you
know.
can go.
That'll
He
get
cannot
blasted
catch
by
you.
an ice ray.
I'll
Freeze
take
me.
the
Yeah,
ice ray.
I'll take the ice ray.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even care. I would rather die.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, in terms of
Yeah.
creative team, I mean, well, Josh, do you want to finish first?
Finish.
Your thoughts. Yeah, we kind of cut you off.
Oh no, I probably shouldn't. Well, no, it's not. I'm not gonna. It's not. I feel like the Flash has had such a good run,
Yeah.
and I'm not saying that Jeremy Adams has to stay on the book, but we've seen
I'm saying
Wally
he does.
treated in such a good way, having a good life, having really good stories, but maintaining that upbeat, what we've always wanted for Wally kind of story for a while. And with Cy Spurrier coming on, I know that that's not going to be the case. So that's that's a bummer. And
Yeah, well, I don't
Deodato,
want to.
Jesus,
Yeah,
man.
I don't want to completely write that out because I definitely know that Cy Spurrier can do more upbeat characters even in darker situations. Like I'm thinking of, I mean, even now with the Nightcrawler stuff he's been doing. Kurt obviously has been through some crazy shit with the X-Men and founding a new religion and all that stuff, but he still kind of has his relatively sunny disposition every now and then. Although I haven't entirely caught up on the newest series, so I could be totally wrong, but I don't want to rule that out. Plus, I'm trying to count my blessings too, because at the very least, at least Wally is still the Flash, which I'm very happy about.
Right.
I'm glad they didn't just revert it back to Barry. Like they're firmly sticking with Wally as the Flash. So even if the
Yes,
stories,
that makes
take a
me
bit of a darker twist, I would prefer Wally to just be the de facto Flash as opposed to Barry.
Mhm.
So I'm happy that that's staying. I think my biggest
So,
gripe is just Mike Deodato. I'm kind of on the opposite camp of you, Rob. I've never been a fan of Deodato's stuff. Even the stuff on New Avengers, even Amazing Spider-Man, it was always just really
Yeah.
rough.
My big thing, and it's kind of, this is the weird issue I have with Deodato. Like, he takes pride in his musculature, in his anatomy, but that's the thing I have issue with, is everything is way too muscular. Like,
Yeah.
I enjoyed some
Like
of the
he's
stuff in
addicted
New
to that
Avengers,
shit.
but I will always picture how he drew Luke Cage, and the dude was like a brick wall. He was so massive. And again, he's
Luke
Power Man. He's supposed to,
Smash.
but like to a ridiculous degree. Like nobody ever drew Luke Cage that big and muscular before. It was just, it was insane. It was like 90s muscles. It was really weird. And suffice to say, like Wally does not have
Where's
that
all the pouches?
overextended muscle, but that face, I can't get over that face, man. That being said, though, about Wally, this new direction is going to take him towards cosmic horror type stories as opposed to the upbeat, fun, action-packed thrill rides that we've had with Jeremy Adams. So it's definitely a big change in the Flash run right now. I'm sad to see Jeremy Adams go. I must admit, I think we all
Yes.
can agree. I've yet to see a bad thing said about Jeremy Adams' run on Flash anywhere. So
Mhm. The
it's a
biggest
damn
gripe
shame.
that I have heard from some people is just that it's a little too milk toast. But honestly, like, I think that's the stuff that has made it the best. It's the,
Yeah,
mundane, everyday family stuff. Like that's exactly the kind of story
yeah,
that Wally needed right now. So I've
exactly.
been
And
over the
Yeah,
moon
sometimes
with
that's
you
it.
what
I
need
mean,
that.
all of us Wally fans have wanted that
yeah,
for
like
long.
it's
He's
like
been
Yeah,
literally there was a
set
whole
on
point where
fire
his
for
like his
years.
kids were lost in time and Linda didn't know who he was, and it's just like I'm glad that there's a time where none of that shit is even on the table. He just has a family
Killed
and is
exactly.
everybody.
content with that. Yeah,
Oh God,
exactly. So, you know,
yeah, yeah. So it's good to see Wally is having a bit of a turnaround. Um,
yeah.
Yes, very much so.
my biggest gripe about this news though is that when it comes to the Wonder Woman scene, they're leaving the book probably of their own volition. But I mean, we've yet to hear, but like it definitely feels like their story is starting to wind down. But Jeremy Adams, it was not his choice to leave the book. He was told
Mm.
that they're going with a new direction and a new team, um, which is a damn shame because even he was kind of bummed about that. He posted on social media that he did not want to leave, but he was told that they're doing a new team, and now we just got Green Lantern. So,
Yeah.
which I'm still excited to see Jeremy Adams do Green
I hope he
Lantern,
does a great job.
but I think he will. Honestly, I think he will. With if he keeps the same level of fun and excitement that he had
Hmm.
on the Flash and put it in the Green Lantern, like Flash and Green Lantern, they go hand in hand when it comes to stories. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, I
Although
think
I
he's going
will
to do
say
really well in that book.
this one definitely might be, well, I'll be interested to see, but this one might be, I don't want to say more of a challenge, but it might be a little bit a bit more difficult to kind of to try and figure out where Hal goes from here. Because with Wally, it was like, okay, let's just give him the stuff that he really needs right now and make it work. But with Hal, I'm not really sure. I mean, where else do you go?
Yeah.
Because we've kind of already done the cosmic drifter thing. We've done the
Mm-hmm.
space epic, and
Twice.
now he's back on Earth. And
Twice.
I'm kind of just wondering. I mean, aside from a very grounded tale, which I think would be welcome,
Yeah.
but I don't know if it
Yeah,
would
for
be all
sure.
that interesting to people.
Yeah. I mean that's the
It all
problem
depends on
now
how
with
it's
Green
written.
Lantern. Like it's Green Lantern as a concept has become such a spacefaring thing, and I think this all
Yeah.
goes back to the conversations we've had months ago about how DC doesn't really play much at all in their cosmic side of the storytelling, whereas
Mhm.
Marvel has a big cosmic storytelling
Yeah, it's true.
side. Um, and DC pretty much just every so often will tell a Green Lantern story in space, and there's your cosmic story. That's if Adam Strange
Yeah.
isn't in a book this month, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, to have Green Lantern stories squarely on Earth is kind of weird for
Mhm.
DC, but again, that depends on the writer. So I'm still all
Yeah.
about it. I'm still excited.
Mhm.
And all the stuff you were listing, like I was saying, that happened twice, and Hal's stuck on Earth. This is like the fifth time, so we'll see how
That's
it
true.
goes. Yeah,
Because I think, I mean, the last time I remember him being stuck on Earth was like um maybe the start of that new 52 run.
yeah, it happened in
And
that, and it happened
yeah,
in
and then
Morrison's
I
run for a bit, but that was kind of
yeah,
part of the
that's right. He kind
story.
of started there.
Yeah,
But yeah, well, that's the thing. It's like he'll start on Earth, and then within 3 issues is off to the stars,
yeah,
never to be seen again. So
yeah,
yeah, you're just kind of like, okay,
yeah. That first issue of Green Lantern for New 52, it to me is a lot like the first issue of Superwoman in New
yeah, yeah,
52. Like they advertise it at with Superwoman, they advertise Lois Lane and Lana. No, they advertise Lois Lane as Superwoman. Lois Lane as Superwoman.
mhm.
This is exciting.
There's
Lois
one
Lane,
issue.
and then Lana Lang as Superwoman, and Lois dies at the end of the first issue. And I'm like, what
Yeah,
the.
I
And same
know.
thing with Green Lantern.
Yeah,
Sinestro is the Green Lantern now. Hal's out of the cord. Sinestro is the new protector of 2814. And at the end of the first issue, Hal's got a ring again. And he's teaming
yeah.
with Sinestro. So
And is
it's.
is like literally a Green Lantern for the rest of that arc. So
Yeah.
there's no like time between issues where he's just not a Green Lantern and has to
Yeah.
adjust back to life on Earth, which I'm guessing it's probably because they're like, oh, that would be boring. People don't want to read
Yeah.
that. If you're reading Green Lantern, you want to read, you know, the space epic. You want to read constructs and crazy imagination. You don't want to read about Hal being a test pilot at Ferris Air, trying to hit on Carol and like going to the bar with his fighter pilot friends. As
But
interesting as that
honestly,
would be, no one wants to read that.
the funny thing
Yeah.
is when you
Hal
say that
starts
is
out wanting to have a relationship with Carol, and then gets transported to a alternate dimension after getting shot down by real Carol. He finds a Carol that still loves him, and the whole series is about his debate whether or not he should bring that Carol back home with him.
see just this hearing the sentence a Carol that still loves him just like tore at my heartstrings.
Mhm. Yeah.
That
Wait,
hurt.
what were you gonna say, Rob?
The funny thing about like you were mentioning that one of the at least one of my favorite issues in that the first two story arcs with Sinestro as a GL, Hal actually
Mhm.
does at one point just give up and he's like, I'm not gonna
Yeah.
help you, Sinestro. Take the ring. I don't want it. And he just decides to live life on Earth, go on dates with Carol. Everything is going great. He's got his job at Ferris Air. And Sinestro's like, no, I need help. Fuck you. Take the ring or I
Yeah.
shoot Carol. So he has no choice in the matter.
Oh.
Isn't that like when he decks Sinestro like while they're in Carol's apartment
Yeah.
or something, just fucking off
Yeah.
the space?
Yeah.
Fucking
Yeah.
pops him right in the face.
And then he takes
You
him to
broke
New
my
Corrigar, and then
nose.
they die. It's like,
Yeah,
oh,
and then they
thanks,
die.
Cindy.
And then they're like trapped in the Black Ring or something. I don't
Yeah.
remember exactly.
It was either they
That's
were
like
either
right
trapped in the
as
Book of the
the ring's
Black, or
supposed to be out.
they were trapped in Black Mask's ring, or Black
Yeah.
Hand's ring. Sorry.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, yeah, that was freaking weird. But hey, that gave us Simon Baz, and to all you GL fans out there who hate Simon Baz, deal with it.
Deal with it.
Simon Baz rocks. I like Simon anyway. Yeah, so that
he just
is
needs good stories, man.
he had some good stories in Green Lanterns. I'll always
Well,
say.
I mean, yeah, but I mean
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. Well, he needs to actually be used.
Well, I mean, he doesn't even have powers anymore.
See, I think the GL fandom as a whole is kind of just forgetting that run ever happened. Because it looks like DC is too.
I'm right there with you.
Because Dark
Okay.
Crisis, all the GLs were back. Jessica didn't have a yellow ring. Arisia was still alive, and like even Simon had a ring again. So like Thorne's
Yeah.
run is out the window
Simon did have a ring,
as far
you're
as
right.
we're concerned.
Did they
Yeah.
ever even say what happened to Kyle? I just remember he was floating in space, and then it seemed they were seeming to imply that he was dead, and then Dark Crisis is
Yeah.
like, "No, I'm alive."
The whole plan there, and Thorne actually did confirm this on a different show. He had an interview, and he
Uh-huh.
actually did confirm this, that Kyle was supposed to die, and that's what when they hinted at that, he was actually supposed to be dead, but his body was
Yeah.
going to be found by aliens and be experimented on. And I don't remember exactly what
What?
those aliens had ties to the Green Lanterns already. Like they created something ages ago. I think they might have like
Yeah.
been the ones that initially designed the ring or something like that, and then they fuck with his body, and then Kyle gets newfound powers, but because he was officially dead, he has no memory of his time as a Green Lantern or any of the friends he made. So he's like a whole new person.
That's so
He's like-
terrible. Oh
he's
my
like-
god.
It's like Parallax, but anti-hero Parallax.
Yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Not okay.
That is horrible.
Yeah,
Not okay.
like Ion,
You're
but
gonna
a
fuck
jerk.
And like not even because like I necessarily think like, oh, Kyle has to be like this perfect untouched character or anything. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
he should go through some strife, but that's just like a genuinely bad plot.
Yeah.
Who wants to read that?
Changing it.
Yeah,
That's not even Kyle
Yeah.
anymore. It's just
Yeah.
whatever they decide to call him.
Yeah.
oh, if you thought that was bad, Hal was going to stop being a ring slinger and instead be a bureaucrat for the GLC. He would just
I
be like he'd be
don't-
Salak, basically.
Yeah. I mean, I don't
That would
hate
be,
that. It would be
uh,
interesting to see Hal try and play it being a more politically active GL, but maybe not like that.
They
Not
pushed him,
giving up
but-
his
Better
ring,
left
at
it,
least.
John.
No.
Yeah.
But like after Jeff Johns' run, he pushed it. I don't remember if it was him or Tomasi that had it where or maybe not Tomasi. I don't remember who wrote after, but Hal became the leader of the Corps as per the
That
remaining
was Vendetti, I
Guardians.
think. Yeah, yeah, I
Oh,
know what you're talking
Vendetti.
about.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
and he hated it. Like he wasn't good
yeah,
at it at all. So I don't want to revisit that. It wasn't good.
yeah. Well, I think like
Yeah,
kind of acting as the maybe not a bureaucrat, but sort of like a. I mean, all the Green Lanterns are kind of liaisons between the Corps and planets, but just sort of that like official capacity, a little bit different than
yeah,
just being your average ring slinger. I don't hate that idea. I think maybe
yeah,
if you did it right, there could be something there. But yeah, not having him be a leader, I think that's definitely more suited to John.
yeah. Actually, the one thing I was excited for when I heard about it, if it ever would happen again, Teen
Mhm.
Lantern. I don't remember her name. She was going to be teaming up with Tai Pham from Green Lantern
Ah,
Legacy, which I don't know if you guys have read that. It's actually really good. I think that's a great
I did
idea.
not. Yeah,
Yeah.
that would make sense though, because I remember there was like a tease in issue 10 or 11 of the Green Lantern season 2, where they were basically the Guardians were saying something to the effect of, Hal, you're kind of outmoded, to quote robots for some reason. We're thinking
Yeah.
of retiring you and replacing you with the next generation or something like. There's like a quote where they say something to that effect, and so I got the impression that was going to happen within the next series, but it didn't. Um, anyway, yeah, that's terrible. Glad that didn't happen.
Yeah. Yeah. Me too.
I would, dude. You want to talk about me fucking ranting? Oh Jesus Christ! I would have blew a gasket. They did that
Yeah.
shit to Kyle.
Yeah. That would have been really bad. Yeah, let's get to our next piece of news though, because we still got a lot to get to. Okay, I want to a couple of things from Marvel. I want to point out Chip Zdarsky has teased the end of his tenure on Daredevil with a black and white photo of Daredevil's helmet on fire with the teaser, "This is what God has done." And if y'all are reading Daredevil,
Oh my god.
that's exciting. If y'all are not reading Daredevil, go fucking read Daredevil. It's actually really good.
I agree.
Yeah.
This is probably the closest I will ever come to enjoying a story about the Hand. Kirk
Yeah.
has talked or heard me talk about how much I dislike stories with the Hand. That's like the one thing about Daredevil I've never gotten into, but this one is probably the best that they've had.
Yeah. Um, and I got four more things, but three of them I think were all yours, Brandon. If you have them written down,
Oh,
the one I want to point out, Neil Gaiman has posted on from social media, all over social media. Rachel
Tell me
Pollack,
more.
who oh, it's not good. Rachel Pollack,
I
Uh,
didn't
who
see this one.
yeah, she wrote some Doom Patrol in the '90s. Uh, she is slowly dying, unfortunately.
Are you serious?
Uh,
Oh God, that's so
yeah,
terrible.
yeah, she's on her way out. It's very sad. Neil posted about it
Yeah,
as he claims she is a very close friend of his, and she and her family gave him permission to announce it on social media that um, she's dying basically, and it's a
yeah,
very sad thing. I don't know that he mentioned the reasons why, but it's happening, and it's a damn shame.
yeah.
It's
I
always
think
sad
there
to hear stuff
was
like that.
some kind of illness or something. I mean, I assume
Yeah,
so. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. It's a damn shame.
yeah. Well,
Yeah,
I would encourage listeners to check out her run on Doom Patrol. It's not an excellent run. I mean, she was following Grant Morrison, so it was already going to be a hard act to follow. But at the very least, to support her work and what she's done. Also, one of the few transgender writers to ever work on a premier DC title, so that's also very important to recognize as well.
mm, definitely. All right. Yeah, Brandon, what do you have written down from what? Because the last three, I think I pulled from links you sent.
Um, well, I'm forgetting like what I even sent to you, so honestly,
All
you can
right.
read those. I don't know that I have anything particularly major, just like a couple of small promotions. And
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, it's just like because we get our little comics promos since we're a premiere channel. But the first one I want to promote is just because it's fresh on my mind. Is Dark Horse sent us an advance of a book called Order and Outrage from Jim Starlin and Rags Morales, two names you should definitely know.
Yeah.
And I had the chance to read it this morning. It's really good, like way better than I thought it was going to be. Might I mean, depending on how it sticks the landing, might be one of my favorite science fiction books of the year. So that one is definitely worth checking out when it comes out next week. And then there is a fun little interview with Brian K. Vaughan and James Tynan IV over on Brian K. Vaughan's Substack, Exploding Giraffe, which was really fun to read because, and like, I'm not even shitting you when I say this is the title. It was Brian K. Vaughan asks James Tynan 10 awkward questions. And they are some of the most awkward questions I've ever seen. So I think it did its job, but it was very
Oh
entertaining
man,
to read. So
I gotta check
yeah,
that out.
yeah. No, it was pretty good.
Yeah, I do love some BKV. All right, with that, the last three things I have are basically all returns in a way. Starting off, one more thing from Marvel. Okay, not one more thing. We got two more things from Marvel. Incredible Hulk has announced a new creative team, and the return there is it's returning to the horror
We said
esque
that last
Hulk.
week.
Did we?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's all good.
what's the date on this? March 8th? Oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah.
So I was just going through our Discord. That's when I said there was so much news. I was going through Discord like, oh,
like,
okay,
wait a
this is
minute.
news, this is news,
Yeah.
this is news. Just link it.
No, it's all good. I
Okay.
vividly remember talking about that last week because we were talking about just how great it'll be to kind of get back to the
Yeah.
horror roots of that book.
Yeah. Okay, so that's one less thing to talk about. Yeah, PKJ, Hulk, exciting.
Yes. Although I don't know if we mentioned this last week. I think we talked about the artist, but Nick
Let's
Klein, who was doing
see.
the art
So,
on
is
Incredible Hulk,
the
is.
sorry. Oh yeah.
Oh no, I was just gonna say Nick Klein, who's doing the art on Hulk, is fucking awesome, and you should definitely check him out.
Definitely. Uh, oh man, maybe we did talk about this one too because this is dated from March 6th.
What is it?
Unless we didn't. Did we talk about Grant Morrison on X-Men last week or did we not?
No, but well, that title was very deceptive because it made it sound like they were
Yeah.
writing a new comic, which they're not.
No.
But that actually
It's
is a
part
good
of
way
the
to
60th
mention.
anniversary event.
Yes, but that is
Yeah.
speaking of Grant Morrison, there is another thing that now I remember I sent this one earlier, and I don't know if you had this on
Yes.
the list about the.
Yeah, that's the last thing I had
DC
on my
thing.
list.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah. DC Pride 2023 officially announced, as well as the creative teams and stories within. Starting off, Tim Drake and Connor Hawke by Nadia Shamas and Bruca Jones. A lot of interesting pairings throughout this book, I must admit. Circuit Breaker and The Flash of Earth 11 by A.L. Kaplan. Midnighter Apollo and Alan Scott by Josh Trujillo and Don Aguilo. Ghostmaker and Catman versus Cannon and Saber by Rek Ogle and Steven Sadowski. Catman and Ghostmaker are going to be fantastic together. John Kent and John Constantine by Christopher Cantwell and Skylar Pittridge. Natasha Irons and Nubia by Mildred Lewis. Harley Quinn, Poison Ivy, and Crush by Leah Williams and Paulina Ganucheau. And a return to Multiversity by none other than Grant Morrison and Hayden Sherman, which again leads into another joke Brandon did about Grant Morrison.
Well, yeah, it was another low effort joke, but it was just the kind of running gag that they repeatedly say they're going to do their last work for DC and then come back in like 2 years. And they've been saying that since
Yeah,
Action Comics ended in 2013. And we are in
yeah,
2023, and they are still contributing work to DC Comics.
yeah.
I
Which
honestly, I
I'm
thought the
all for
funniest thing was
that.
the GIF that Rob sent, where it's like the guy who's just like, "I can't quit you," which I think is
Yeah,
exactly how
yeah.
Morrison is with DC, because it's like I want to
Pretty
leave, but
much.
I just can't. I love it too much.
No. Yep. So that's coming in on May 30th. So that's exciting to see. I'm excited to have the third DC Pride on my bookshelf next to the previous
Yeah,
two.
that'll be
So
awesome.
I'm excited for that. Also announced that they had DC Pride Through the Years, which is oh, I'm on the wrong paragraph. Sorry. It collects 3 out of print stories featuring Pied Piper, Supergirl and Lee Serrano, and Batwoman in stories that focus on the relationship to queerness, and also features a new story with starring Alan Scott, and that's dropping on June 13th. And finally, there is the DC Book of Pride, which is an encyclopedic book written by Jadzia Axelrod with a cover from Polina Ganushou. That drops on May 16th and is focusing on the history of all the LGBTQIA plus characters, as well as information therein about all sorts of stuff. And as usual, yearly, they're doing their Pride themed variant covers on a number of books, including Steelworks #1, Spirit World #2, Green Arrow #3, Adventures of Superman John Kent #4, Superman #5, Batman Incorporated not #6, #9, Poison Ivy #13, and Harley Quinn #31. Funny how that worked out. Nightwing #105, Wonder Woman #800, and Detective #1073. So a lot of fun stuff to look forward to in June and May. And that is all the news I had fit to print. It's a lot of news. Did you guys have anything else?
I'm tapped out, my friend.
Yeah, I hear you.
I've got nothing.
All right. Well, with that, a lot of exciting stuff to look forward to. But for now, we got exciting stuff to look forward to here today, starting with our honorable mentions.
And our honorable mentions. The only ones that are out that we are not covering this week are Danger Street #4 and BTAC Season 3 #3. And I haven't gotten a chance to read either one of them yet. I'm
No,
sure
me neither.
one of them I'm going to really enjoy.
Danger Street, right?
Yes.
It's about Lady Cop.
Yeah.
Honestly, like I don't even know how much you're enjoying BTOS or BTAC, rather, season 3. So
Good. I like it.
yeah, fair enough. I'm behind on that. I only read the first issue so far, but I love the first 2 seasons. All right, with that, now we're going to take our quick bite out of crime, starting with Batman Inc. #6. And Josh, you were already talking, but you're going to be talking again, good sir, if you feel the need to tell us what's going on with Batman Incorporated this month.
What if I don't?
Then I guess Ghostmaker can fuck off.
Fuck off, Ghostmaker. Um, excuse me. All right. So, Batman Inc. #6. Ed Brisson on writing. Michelle Bandini was behind the art with colors from Rex Locus, letters by Clayton Cowles, and a cover by John Timms. So, the setup. Professor Pig, holding a chainsaw, has Riddler tied to a chair and surrounded by a bunch of Dollartrons in his own burning down hideout. Raven Red schedules a trip home after his next mission, and Ghostmaker calls everyone in for a meeting, sets everyone down to take out Pig. Turns out Pig has a buttload of supervillains suspended from the ceiling. He's on a rampage because somebody stole something from him. Ghostmaker breaks the team up for separate tasks so that they can learn Meanwhile, with Icon, he can track Professor Pig down all by himself. We go to the kids who stole the thing. They open it up, and it's some kind of barbed wire chest wrap torture device with a mask on top. And Pig busts in and calls it Mother. He is not happy, and it does not look good for the kids. Um, this continues to be a monthly must read for me. The story sounds a little odd, but the way that it's written, it's done really well. Every issue isn't something that's just amazing, but it all works together really good to create this big ass story that's been put together really well. Never lets me put the book down until I'm done with it, at least. Plus, Bandini's art in here is nearly flawless. Colors, too. It was a great issue. I gave it an 8.75 out of 10.
I agree. This is more of what I wanted from this series. It's a lot more interesting of a story, and Professor Pig honestly still remains one of the creepiest villains in Batman's Rogues Gallery. Just damn, this to me is taken to a whole new level with this story. I'm about it though. It's a really good issue. 8.75 out of 10.
Nice. Yeah, this was a solid one too. I'm glad it's following up on the stuff from the No More Teachers arc, because it's good that there's a little continuity. We're not just jumping into a new story with no connection to the previous one. Even though Professor Pig is kind of a random choice, but I mean, he was in the sort of Grant Morrison sphere of Batman Incorporated, so I guess it makes sense. But yeah, I mean, solid start for the new arc. I will say Pig is a little more. I mean, he's still horrible and insane and horrifying, but I don't know if you guys got the impression, but he seemed a little bit more sane to me. Maybe that's just because I'm used to the Morrison version, but that one was like fucking off his rocker, and this was like squealing and all that stuff, and this one was like seemed a little bit more reserved and just very like kind of cold and clinical, which is not bad,
Yeah.
just a little different. But yeah, no, solid stuff here, solid start. Really like the art from Bandini, and interested to see where it goes next. So 8 out of 10 for me.
Right on. And with that, we now move on to Wildcats number 5, brought to us by Brandon.
Me?
Yeah, Brandy.
Me? You said brought
Yeah,
us by
you.
and then stopped talking.
Oh, yeah,
Brandy.
Brandon. Sorry, maybe I got really quiet. Yes, brought to us by Brandon.
Thank you. I was waiting for my grand
Yeah.
introduction. Yes. No, this is Wildcats number
Brought
5.
to us by the Green.
Brought to us by the Green. I wish
Yes.
they could do my job for me. It's Wildcats number 5, written by Matthew Rosenberg with art from Steven Segovia and Christian Duce, with colors from Elmer Santos and letters from Farron Delgado. While Zealot and Michael Cray, Deathblow, are investigating the mysterious circumstances surrounding Grifter's death, the 7 soldiers in Victory have a rather unfortunate encounter with Superman, and Majestic and Superman have a deadly battle that nearly leaves one of them out of commission, but thankfully, before Superman is able to get in any lasting blows to stop this fight, Spartan knocks him off his rocker before teleporting away. We cut back to Deathblow, who is now doing some investigating on her own, particularly with a Jason Halliday, who had been meeting with Marlowe earlier at the art gallery. He is accompanied by his bodyguard slash artist, Reno Bryce, who reveals himself now in a sequence that made me smile to be none other than Warblade. And yes, as Deathblow notes, all of these people get nicknames, especially one such as Warblade. But before Deathblow can send any kind of communique to, excuse me, to Ladytron to let her know what's going on, she is killed, and her communications are jammed by the 7 soldiers of Victory, who seemingly were involved in her death. Yeah, just another solid addition in this series. I have an odd soft spot for these Wildstorm characters, so seeing Spartan finally, suit up as Spartan in the classic '90s inspired costume, and seeing Reno as Warblade with the blades and all, and terribly 90s costume was, I don't know, it was like oddly nostalgic, even though I was not alive during that time. So it was fun. It's a series that continues to put a smile on my face and just kind of play with these forgotten characters. So yeah, this one got an 8 out of 10 too.
Way to make me feel old, Brandon. You weren't
Yeah.
alive in the 90s. Oh man.
Oh God, I'm sorry.
Right?
Well,
Fucking.
speaking of the 90s, yes, to answer your question on Discord, I can hear the theme in my head while watching Josh's
Yes.
background, and it's
Yeah.
starting to make my head spin.
It's brilliant music in my head at that. I can't un it's an image you can hear. It's impossible to not hear it. Wildcats though still honestly has the dark humor we love, at least I love. Honestly, easily one of the best on the stands right now. I imagine there's a lot more surprises to come with this book. A lot of fun surprises this issue. I'm invested in Cole's story though right now. Like what the hell's going on with Cole
Mhm.
Cash? Definitely some multiverse shenanigans, but I'm excited for that. A lot of intrigue, espionage, mystery, backstabbing, both literally and metaphorically. Yeah, what's not to love? Yeah, 8.75 out of
What's
10.
not to love?
Yeah,
Josh, that's your cue.
A2, Josh.
Oh, right. My bad. Um,
Unless you don't want to talk about Wildcats, which is perfectly okay.
fuck Wildcats. Yeah, no, yeah, right. I'm gonna start out with how much I do love the art in this, like the whole series. The pencils and the inks are great. They're fucking fantastic. The colors work so freaking good with the shading. It just looks great. That's like 700 greats. But now, as for the story, the damn thing just keeps getting a little weirder, but better and better at the same time. Like Brandon said, seeing Warhawk and Spartan show up, and everybody else is they're all showing up, and or revealing themselves, and it keeps catching me by surprise. The story does, and in a really good way, not in a what in the hell are they doing kind of way. um, Wildcats, man, I think the shit's just spectacular. I gave it a 9 out of 10.
Agreed. And our
Yep.
last quick bite book of the week is Harley Quinn Screws Up the DCU, part of the Multiversity line, #1, written by Frank Thierry with art from Logan Faber, letters from Farron Delgado, and I guess I forgot to write down the cover artist. I'll get that out later. So Harley is reuniting with the Gang of Harleys, which we've seen in previous installments of her own personal series, as she gets an inheritance letter. And this letter tells the gang and Harley to go to a warehouse on Coney Island full of equipment that once belonged to one Professor Incredulous, including none other than a Wayback Machine, which takes Harley way back to some unknown time where Starro has conquered the Earth. And this all happened apparently because of Harley herself. At least that's what a version of Harley from this version of Earth tells her. So lots of fun so far with some very interesting repercussions. I'm into it. The arts uh, does leave some to be desired, but I'm not against it. I kind of dig the art at times, and it kind of fits Harley Quinn at the same time. I was a little apprehensive with the story because I think Marvel did a bunch of these about a decade ago. Like Deadpool kills a Marvel universe, Punisher kills a Marvel universe, and all sorts of versions of that. So when I saw this coming, I'm like, oh, we're getting one of these. But no, this is actually like really interesting so far. I like it. 8.5 out of 10.
I think the art was really, really loud, but I do think that was the intention with this kind of Harley book. It's a fun one, a crazy Harley story with, with matching art, and more so, it's the colors that just kind of like it was so bright to look at. Um, but it reflects what's going on in the issue. I had a really good time with it, and I look forward to reading the rest of the story. Do you either of you know when that will be?
No, but I hope
Mm-mm.
next month.
No, next month in what? Oh, in Harley.
Like when the issue comes out, number 2.
Oh, this is going. This is an ongoing. It's not a one shot. Oh, the Dur. It's a
Yeah,
multiversity issue. Okay, never mind.
yeah. I think it's something in my mind is saying it's one of 8. I don't know why, but I think it's an 8 issue series.
Well, I mean, it makes sense. It's a multiversity book, so it's an alternate universe, and I don't know why I didn't just pick that up until just now. Or not, you
Right.
know what I mean? Like the other
Yeah,
multiversity. Yep.
yeah. Yeah. The only thing I had with the multiversity books back when Morrison was writing them, that they all had that. I get there's like thousands of Earths now, but they had the 52 Earths on the spine, and it would highlight which Earth you were visiting this time. And I
Mhm.
thought that was really cool to see. But
Yeah.
It
I guess
was
there's
really
just too
cool to
many
see.
Earths to do that on the spine, so it's not really gonna
I
happen.
guess it'll
Um,
depend. I mean, because they did that with Teen Justice, I think, too. That one had like the
yeah,
same branding, and then they had it
yeah,
flagged as Earth 11, but it
yeah,
could have just been for that book. I don't know.
maybe. I mean, maybe they're also trying to keep it a surprise, or they just don't have a number for this one.
Maybe.
Like,
Well, is this a
yeah,
multiversity book or are
yeah,
they?
yeah. It's got
Oh,
the header.
okay.
The
Hmm,
I don't
okay.
know why. It's kind of weird that
That's
this is a
weird.
multiversity book, but maybe that's just going to be their new banner for Elseworlds.
Maybe, yeah.
If it's not Black Label in its main
That's
like main
odd.
series, could be this is multiversity. I don't know.
Yeah.
It is really weird. Yeah. With that though, we're gonna take a quick commercial break, so stay tuned. And we're back. Thanks for sticking with us. I know y'all are not robots. Beep boop.
Better not be.
So we were talking some Superman on our commercial break, and coincidentally, that is also our next book in our spotlight section for
Yes,
the
it
week,
is.
starting off with Superman Lost, #1, brand new book. I don't believe it's Black Label, but it is mini series, and that's brought to us by Josh.
It is. It's brought to you by me. A brand new limited run 10 issue series written by Priest and Carlo Pagulan. Art from Jason Paz and colors from Jeremy Cox. Willie Schubert did the lettering, and Pagulan, Jason Paz, and Elmer Santos did the cover. Um, Superman Lost starts out with Clark and Lois enjoying some time together while they're alone. Then Clark gets the call with the rest of the Justice League, that being Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Martian Manhunter, Flash, Hal Jordan, Green Arrow, and Batman. Then Clark comes back to their apartment and walks around silently before telling Lois that he's been gone for 20 years. The emergency call to the jail was because, even though they were lying about it on TV, the government's, some sort of alien craft crashed into international waters just outside of the China Sea. It contains or at least one singularity, so they can't open it, and it's highly dangerous, and it's about to leak out. They can a singularity tear things apart at the molecular level, basically makes a black hole. Clark manages to contain it and save the world, but then disappears when the crisis is over. Back at the apartment, Bruce is showing up, and he's there to tell Lois what had happened, and I imagine I'm sorry. And was surprised that Clark was there. During the fight, Batman says that Superman is the only one that might be able to save the day. Clark, of course, dives right in. Back in the apartment, after being told this, Lois is not very happy. She starts to take it out on Bruce, but Clark stops her and says, "You're not mad at him, you're mad at me." Lois says, "Fine," and then that's that. Man, the art in here is, I mean, try to find something wrong. It's perfect, every single detail, and the story is really set up well too. A classic sci-fi trope with our favorite superheroes, and it's the way that it's being laid out that it's pulling me in. And even though I'm a Priest fan, I had my doubts about this book, and that's no longer a problem. 9 more issues. Let's hope it stays just as good and doesn't get lost in itself. Got some faith in it though. But what is Lois mad about? I mean, yes, he went through some stuff. Superman did something. There was something weird going on. But he's been gone for like 3 minutes. Chill out, Lois. Just relax. Take a Xanax and ask some questions. Don't get all mad.
Yeah.
She's
That's
gonna get all mad at Bruce,
it. Well, isn't that like default?
right?
Bruce did something. Let's get pissed off at him. Yeah.
But
Hey, bad head. Yeah, I 100% agree though. This this issue was the story is amazingly interesting and deep. A lot more interesting than I thought it was going to be. I was very skeptical going into it, but I was hooked by the halfway point. I think this is going to be a very good run. Um, Priest, as we know, always really interesting storytelling and has had a lot of great stories under his belt. So this I don't think will be any different. Yeah, it's exciting, and hell, I can't even think of any one part that stood out more than any other. Like it was, it was just really well crafted. The art was good. The story was interesting. 9 out of 10.
Nice. Yeah, I unfortunately did not get a chance to check this one out either, but I've
oh,
been
really?
interested in from what people have been saying, so I'm looking forward to actually getting to read it soon.
I didn't even give my score. I gave it a 9.5.
Right on.
I mean, I thought it was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely check this
Super
one out,
duper
Brandon.
cool.
It is worth it.
Mhm.
All
Yeah,
right.
it's been sitting
Our
on my nightstand.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you do. Okay. I wasn't sure. Maybe you just didn't pick it up, or well, no. It's
Yeah,
a
and
good
it's
it's a
it's
good
been
idea.
staring at me guiltily,
Yeah.
but yeah, I haven't had a chance to read this one yet.
I know. Like when it was announced, I was a person that was like, we just had 2 stories about Superman being lost in space. Do we really need a
Yeah,
third? But like, no. This is really cool so far.
nice.
Uh, right. So our next issue in the spotlight section is Lazarus Planet: Revenge of the Gods #1, with a backup story as well. But our main story is brought to us by G. Willow Wilson, with art from Kian Tormey, colors from Jordi Belair, letters from Pat Brosseau, and a cover from Guillaume March. Very, very beautiful cover, I must admit. So we open up on Philadelphia. Everything is going just normally. Uh, West Philadelphia, if you're born and raised,
Hmm.
you know, you're just
You
playing
know
some
it's
Stay the
coming.
fuck
people.
off the playgrounds.
So that the rated R version of that song.
Yeah, jeez. Oh my God.
They fuck off on the playgrounds.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden, people around Philadelphia start just having premonitions of their lives, and it's interfering with them. This one person sees her death coming this Thursday. Another person sees winning lottery numbers, and all of a sudden, people are just going crazy with these visions. And it is brought by some god with a bow and arrow, who is unnamed, but I'm sure will be named soon, unless people already know who that is. But I am really behind on my mythology, so I could not tell you. um, in the middle of all this is one Billy Batson, in his kid form, looking around at everything, but he is struck by one of the arrows from this god. Sees the god. Oh, yes, his name is Apollo. I forgot. And Billy just says, oh boy, we're in for some shit. And over in other parts of the world, we see other gods doing various other things. Cats flooding Cairo, uh, deer and hunting flooding Iceland, and water just flooding Japan. Like, did, seriously, I think they just flooded Japan. Like, it's underwater now. Like, what the fuck? I don't know if you guys watched it. It was an anime on Netflix a few years ago. Japan Sinks 2020. And
I did not see
it's a,
that one.
Not.
it's a heavy fucking show. It was like 6
Interesting.
or 8 episodes, and it is really well done. And it's this whole idea of Japan just the whole island just sinking into the ocean. Like, it was always going to happen, and now it's happening, and it's just recording the destruction and devastation that the country is going through, while also following the story of this one family just trying to survive. And it's just dark and deep and heavy, and definitely watch it. And when I see this page with Tokyo and this tsunami coming, I get reminded of that anime, and I just get sad because that anime was very sad. Meanwhile, on Mount Olympus, oh my God, Hera? That's Hera, yeah? Is the queen. See, I'm getting my mythologies mixed up. Okay.
Yes.
Right.
Hera.
Yeah. Okay, so Hera is now the ruler of Olympus, alongside her, I'll guess, vizier, if you will, the wizard from Shazam. The wizard Shazam. Does he even have?
Yeah,
Is
the
his
wizard
name
Shazam.
Shazam? It's
it's just
Yes.
always,
Or just the
depending on
wizard.
continuity.
Captain
They
Marvel
usually
slash
just call him the-
Shazam is now just going by the captain.
Yeah.
Just by
They
the
usually
gap,
just call the
yeah.
wizard the wizard.
Yeah, like it depends on depending on the continuity. He's got like a different name every. So I think, yeah, the wizard is probably the easiest way to go about it. They discuss plans going according to plan, where the people are beginning to worship them again, and the whole plan being just strike fear into the hearts of humanity, so they begin to worship gods, and the gods will not die off. And every god seems to be in on this plan, including Hermes. But I don't know, maybe it's just me, but Hermes looks like he's under some kind of control with that red sash around him. Uh, kind of reminds me of the sash from King Fireball, but that's neither here nor there. Meanwhile, in Washington, the team at they believe they're Checkmate, correct? Are
Yes.
trying to come up with a plan to fight the various gods, and Cheetah in two panels on the same page. This really bugged me, and I was going to bring this up in notes, but I'm here now. Equally says you can get all the capes and heroes together, and you won't put a dent in all the gods. And then immediately says, you know what we should do? Get all the capes and heroes and just try to fight the gods.
Get 'em.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. So this way, Cheetah's not on the planning committee, I guess. The plan that they come up with is Diana is going to go to Mount Olympus, try to talk to whoever's in charge, and maybe get some help from Hippolyta. As Diana does that, saying if she's not back in 2 days, assume she's failed and get ready. Meanwhile, on the banks of the Potomac River, a giant god is dead, and some kids are just trying to fish around the body, trying to find some kind of treasure, because they believe there's always treasure when a god dies. But this hooded figure shows up and says, "You boys are right," and fishes a glowing hand out of the river, saying that is the hand of a god, and it is very powerful. And over on Mount Olympus, Diana has arrived, finds Hera and the wizard, and begins to figure out what the hell is going on, seeing Zeus basically dead on the floor, pleading with Hera to stop this insanity. But Hera says, look, we are going to die out if we don't do this, but that also means the Amazons will die too if we die. Diana refuses to believe it, but Hera insists that it is true, and Diana eventually begins to believe that maybe it is the outcome. Hippolyta, meanwhile, is being held somewhat captive by Hecate, um, kept away from helping her daughter Diana. So she's not going to be any assistance to Diana whatsoever. As Hera pushes Diana into going along with the plan and grants her godhood with a brand new golden costume and I imagine abilities to go with it. Which harkens back to what Josh said at the beginning of the episode as he plays Arkham Asylum. That Wonder Woman is clad in gold. And that will be continued in Wonder Woman number 797. And in the backup, these two this is backup, sorry, brought to us by Becky Cloonan and Michael W. Conrad with pencils from Aletha Martinez, inks from Mark Morales and John Livesay, colors from Alex Guillemarius, and letters from Becca Carey. These two would be influencers and vloggers are in a speedboat off the shores of Themyscira on their way to visit the island as it has finally been revealed to the world after the Lazarus rains have basically washed away the barrier protecting it. In the Oracle Chamber, Queen Nubia and her personal round table, I don't know what you'd call them, are looking on in the seeing waters and see the two men on their way and questioning how they should go about stopping them. And as the two men reach the shore, they begin to look around and filming as much as they can. But the what seems to be producer slash cameraman gets hit by an arrow and dies, and the host, who is basically running the show, tries to run away back to his boat, but also gets hit by an arrow, and the would-be archer is none other than the same hooded figure that took the glowing hand from the Potomac River, and is met by Queen Nubia as he says that he is a messenger of ill news, that the Amazons are alone in the coming war, and there's pretty much nothing they can do. So that has happened, and I've got a lot of shit to say about it. So I already brought up the thing with Cheetah that I thought was kind of... Huh?
Nothing.
What? I already brought up the thing with Cheetah. That just kind of bugged me. It didn't make sense that she was saying, we can't do this, and then the very next panel saying, we have to do this, even though you just said it's not going to work, but then you say, why don't we try it anyway? That doesn't make any sense. Billy shows up for a page. That was kind of weird. I imagine he's going to have a bigger role later on. At least I hope so. But it seemed like a bit of a cop-out that Billy was there for a page. And that was it. The stakes are kind of weird. The world is under siege, and only Diana and Billy are the ones that notice it. Like, Japan is being flooded. At least Tokyo is being flooded by a tsunami. And shit's going wild all over the place. And these are the only two heroes that decide to step up. That seems a little weird to me. I don't know. I didn't love it. It's kind of lackluster. I also don't understand how this is a Lazarus Planet tie-in, because the Lazarus rains are done, the volcano has been stopped, and every other part of the story is over. So why is this part of Lazarus Planet? Is it because they mentioned that the rain happened? Like, the backup has more to do with Lazarus Planet than anything, and even it still takes place after Lazarus Planet is over. And the backup was a lot more interesting to me because it was a simpler story, a lot shorter, and actually showed off some kind of consequence. So I don't know. I love G. Willow Wilson, but this ain't it for me. 6 out of 10 for the whole issue. It's the art's good throughout. I really like the art in the backup, and I love the art in the main story, but the story itself is kind of lame.
So I'm not really there with you, man. The first part, Wonder Woman being a god again, that's kind of cool, or at least having your godlike powers. I'd like to see, that's not a secret. The Justice League move on to doing something bigger. Um, Leave it in the hands of the Titans and whatnot. But I think that's cool, and I think the art looks really really good. I think the story in the first part's intriguing. There's not a lot happening other than the Ascension, but I am curious as to what's coming. The second part sets up something that might have potential, but we'll have to see. I'm not sold yet. The art is really really good though, but liking how much that I looked at, both halves of the book, and the fact that they both got potential at least for now. I was just in a good mood, but I gave it an 8.25 out of 10.
Oh, fair enough.
I am right between the two of you. I didn't dislike it, but I didn't really love it. It was just very average for me. Like it has some interesting ideas, some of which you mentioned, like Wonder Woman being a god. I don't hate the concept. I mean, seeing the gods kind of take their revenge or take their control or whatever you want to call it on the rest of humanity, given everything that's been happening in Wonder Woman and the rest of the DCU. It's not a terrible idea. It's just this execution did not make me overly excited about the idea. It's more like, oh, yeah, they could be interesting, but I'm kind of just very neutral right now. So I gave this a 7.5. As for the backup, I was kind of just like, whatever. Like I was so I was so on the fence about the main story. The backup just kind of like blended into it for me. So really just gave the whole thing a 7.5. The art was okay, very average as
Fair
well.
enough. Fair enough. Yeah, I must admit, like the basic plot of the gods trying to get revenge and basically save their own lives. I think
Mhm.
that's interesting. But yeah, the
Yeah,
way they're going about it, mixed in with all the other
it's
issues I listed, it's just not working.
yeah. I just I'm
For
like
me. Yeah.
as a first issue, not incredibly impressive, but not terrible.
No.
So yeah, very
Yeah.
average.
Yeah. And I think it would have been. I know it's just a nitpick on my part, but just don't call it Lazarus Planet. It has nothing to
It
do
is a
with
little weird.
Lazarus
I mean,
Planet.
I guess I feel like I'm waiting for the actual Lazarus Planet stuff to maybe tie in later. I don't really know, but because I mean, there was that whole thing with the Rock of Eternity, and they freed Billy, and Billy was in this issue, but yeah, I don't
Oh,
know. It
Billy.
does feel
That's
weird
true.
that yeah, it does feel weird that they're calling it a Lazarus Planet tie-in, and there's like no connections, at least no obvious
Oh,
connection.
and there was stuff with Monkey Prince and Lazarus Planet Omega, like the end of it with King Firebull, that left some doors open. So maybe, okay, maybe there
Maybe,
will be some more stuff coming later on.
yeah.
But I don't know. You think for
Who
a first issue, if you're gonna call it Lazarus Planet, you'd do a bit more of
knows?
an effort to really
Come on, guys.
drive home why it's the Lazarus Planet tie-in. You
Yeah,
know?
They've never worried
Yeah.
about
yeah.
that with tie-ins before.
Yeah.
And am I the only one that wants to hear Pitbull say King Fireball?
The
What the
rapper
the rapper
Yeah.
Pitbull?
Pitbull.
What, Mr. Worldwide?
Oh God,
King
no! Please
Fireball.
no.
When he sings the
Ugh,
song Fireball, I want to hear his
shoot me.
take on
Oh
Fireball.
yeah. King
Um,
Fireball.
uh,
You know what? I kind of do now too.
oof, no.
I hear it every time somebody says King Fireball. I hear Pitbull's
Do,
voice.
do, 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 do. Do, do, do,
Sounds
do,
horrible.
King Fireball. Do, do, do.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't talk about it much.
Oh man. All right, with
All right,
that
Lazarus
ends
Planet,
our
Green Rain.
spotlight for the week. And now we're getting into our full dive section for the week, where we will begin with Batgirls number 16 with Brandon filling us in with the girls this month.
That we will, yes. And this is Batgirl's number 16, appropriately titled Everyone's Mad Here, which I think fits given that we're all a little mad today. But this is, of course, written by Becky Cloonan
I'm
and Michael
curious.
W. Conrad, with art from Neil Gouge and Geraldo Borges doing the finishes from pages 16 to 22, colors from Rico Renzi, and letters from Becca Carey. The Batgirls follow up on a tip from Grace O'Halloran in their hunt for the Mad Hatter. Tip leads them to a factory in Gotham's Garment District, where they arrive just in time for Mad Hatter's Mad Tea Party, filled with all the members of the Bat family and a couple of villains, too. Of course, not the real ones, just some very horrific doll versions that make a quick work to attack the Batgirls. But of course, our Batgirls have this all under control and are naturally able to shut down these horrifying doll creations before they can do any serious damage. Sadly,
You're
the
right about
Batgirls,
that.
or at the very least, Steph's reaction skills are not quite as fast as her fighting skills, as she gets squirted by a mysterious gas that emerges from a what do you call that thing? A something phone monogram? I don't remember. You know what I'm talking about, right? Like the thing with the
Yeah, I think that's
oh,
phonograph.
phonogram. That's it.
Yeah,
Phonogram. Yeah. Um,
the old-timey
anyway.
record player.
I'm sorry, I was not born in 1907, so I'm not caught up on all the popular technology of the day.
Brandon, you
But
make me feel
anyway,
so old. You weren't around in the 1900s. Oh,
I know, I know. I'm
Their problem
sorry.
with
I know you were fighting alongside the JSA in World War II, but some of us
yeah.
just aren't as old as you, Rob.
Ted Grant's
Anyway,
he's a cool cat.
damn
yeah,
right.
yeah. No, you trained Ted Grant.
Yeah,
Mm.
but he didn't want to wrestle. He decided to be a boxer instead. So
He just had to be a boxer.
yeah,
But anyway, the Batgirls, really Steph, are kind of coming down from that gas, and Steph starts to notice very strange things happening to her body, but not in the standard teenage way. No, this is a rather different reaction that leads her to transform into a literal Bat girl, or girl Bat, as Cass calls her. They have their little back and forth as Steph is naturally lashing out in her new monstrous form, but Cass is able to talk her down, reminding her that they're friends, they're family, and all the mushy gushy emotional stuff that you would expect. And thankfully, appealing to her human nature, they are able to go after the Mad Hatter and shut him down, but not before they are able to procure some kind of cure, which Babs is attempting to shoot at Cass after they arrest Mad Hatter and hand him over to the GCPD. But Cass decides that maybe it's better, just for now, to let Steph ride out her strange monster fantasy before she eventually is given the cure and reverts back to her human form. And the two ride off into the sunset, Cass atop Steph in a very touching ending scene that closes off this arc. I thought it was fun. I thought it was really cute. I'm still not in love with Neil Gouge's art, but I enjoyed the story, so it kind of makes up for it. I liked the art more towards the end. I thought it kind of smoothed out there, which was much more appreciated. But yeah, no, the story is just fun, and I don't know. I feel like every month it's just a nice dose of Steph and Cass and Oracle doing their Batgirl thing, so I can't really complain. So this one got a very solid 8 out of 10 for me. It was originally 7.5, but going through it again just kind of reminded me of how much fun I had with the issue. So yeah, dug it.
wow. I thought I had more notes. Yeah, it's a great one-off issue. I love these simple one and done stories. Um, I'm not gonna say fun as much as I want to because that's my go-to. Because Steph turning into Girl Bat, kind of terrifying, but it was very interesting, um, especially seeing her come around and remember her friendship with Cass and the very nice hug they had. That was nice to see. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, one-off story with Mad Hatter. What you can't really hate it. It was to the point. It gave you what it promised. It was interesting, and even surprised with some extra stuff that you wouldn't expect, like Girl Bat. So 8.75 out of 10. Solid issue. Very good art. I'm digging the way this series has progressed. Josh.
Yeah.
What did you think?
As far as
Batgirls.
Bad girls.
I thought I already. Oh, I started to, and then never mind. Anyway, so this was a pretty quick read. Really fast, one issue wraps up the fight against the Mad Hatter, but that's been the Batgirl's thing for a while now. The whole Steph Bat thing was weird, but whatever. There was some art that I wasn't a fan of, but it all made for a fun story, and it wrapped up to the art. Man, that Steph Bat thing was weird though. I gave it a 7.5 out of 10.
And with that, we are jumping into our last book of the week. It's been a long one, but we finally made it. We made it, folks. It's the
Looney
Tunes
JSA
number
number
271.
3. What was that?
I said Looney Tunes number 271.
Oh God. God.
This week, Bugs Bunny chases Elmer Fudd. Because it's
No,
What
this
else is
week,
new?
a new four-legged pal joins the fray when Granny agrees to take care of a friend's large dog. I get Looney Tunes for the kids.
10 out of 10.
Oh joy.
Yeah. Yeah, but if there was ever like a, I don't remember his name now, the Daffy Duck space cadet character. If there was ever a comic for that, I'd read the shit out of it.
The Daffy Duck Space Cadet character, Marvin the Martian?
No, there was like a.
Are you talking
there
about
was even
Duck Dodgers?
Duck Dodgers. That's it.
Dodgers.
Yeah.
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 Oh yeah. No, that would be awesome.
Yeah. I would love a comic for Duck Dodgers. That'd be great.
I think wasn't there an
Uh,
episode? Oh my God. I may be going insane, but I swear there was an episode of Duck Dodgers in I think the 24th and a half century with Green Lanterns. Do you
yep.
remember this?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
honestly my favorite episode, where
because
him
they
and
had
Hal
like
Jordan
I
went to
remember
the
because
same dry cleaner, and he ended up with the
yes,
Green Lantern
yeah,
outfit
that's
instead.
that's why because I remember how he shows up at the end and he's like, "Why are you wearing my suit?"
Yeah, and the whole
Wait, but
episode,
wait,
Duck
oh no,
Dodgers
but I
is just a
remember
Green
too
Lantern.
because wasn't there there's like some like canon comic where they have a version of the Daffy Duck Green Lantern character or something. It might have been like a multiverse thing, I
Oh
don't remember,
yeah,
but
that does sound
I
familiar.
swear that was somewhere. Yeah,
I
yeah,
have to look that up.
yeah.
Yeah, that sounds very familiar. Yeah, that was an interesting show. That was some fun stuff. But anyway, that's in the future. We're going to the past with the Justice Society of America in The New Golden Age, Chapter 3, Wartime, written by Jeff Johns, with art from Mikel Yanin and Jerry Ordway, with colors from Jordi Belair and John Calise, depending on the time period we are in, because this takes place both in World War II and in present day. Letters from Rob Lee, and a gorgeous cover from Mikel Yanin. We open on July 1st, 1944. Hey, that's Canada Day. On the Western Front of the war, where a bandaged soldier is handing off important documents to none other than Easy Company, specifically to Sergeant Rock, the leader of the team, where they are being tasked with hunting down a new enemy soldier who was going by the name Per Degaton. And he's cooking up some very interesting scientific know-how, dealing with, of course, Adolf Hitler's love of the paranormal, uh, and combining the two and making a time machine of sorts, specifically a time platform. I think Doctor Doom is going to sue, but that's neither here nor there. Just as they finish their machine, Easy Company bust down the wall and begin firing, taking out everybody involved. Per Degaton takes a slug in the shoulder, but powers up the machine, gets blasted, and appears. Was that 1941? I did not do the math on this. Appears 3 years later in the same spot where the base is basically in ruins. The machine is gone, and the war is long over. But he then takes this opportunity to conquer because he's got a time machine. And that's how we end up with the Perdegaton we know today. Meanwhile, in the present day, Huntress is talking, as we saw at the end of the last issue, with uh, Detective Chimp, Khalid, Dr. Fate, and Deadman, which is just dawning on me now. How the hell is she talking to Deadman?
That is a
That
good
makes
question.
sense. I didn't realize. Even at the end of the last issue, it didn't dawn on me that, like, how is she, let alone seeing Deadman or
Yeah.
seeing Deadman, let alone talking to him? He's not possessing anyone as far as we know. Uh,
It's weird.
she gives her spiel about the snow globe that belonged to her father and how Khalid dies in the future, and she needs to save the JSA. So Detective Chimp takes on the case, and they all take her to the JSA, who are also busy themselves fighting an invasion of Bizarros. Very interesting concept, and I would love to see a full story of this in itself. But they can't get a hold of Superman, of course. And so they just do what they do best, take care of the Bizarros themselves, and they do it with style. As this invasion is being orchestrated by none other than the fearsome, the disloyal, the dastardly Angle Man, everyone's most hated villain.
Everyone's most feared villain, especially the JSA. I mean,
Oh,
they've
It's
yeah.
had
because he's so
real terrible run-ins.
obtuse.
Uh,
Oh,
You're
that joke was so bad you just killed Brandon.
I know. You nearly heard me die.
You are welcome.
He became Boston Brand.
I am the dead man now.
Yeah, now you can possess some writers and have some good stories going.
I could.
Yeah. Who would you possess first?
Joshua Williamson. That way he doesn't fuck
What's
with
up?
Green Arrow.
Said who would you possess first as Deadman?
Ooh,
If you were to
that's a
possess a
tough
writer.
one. I was thinking I would possess Todd McFarlane and have him send us many, many action figures.
Yes,
That'll be my first move. And then
Agreed.
we'll see about DC Comics.
I don't have enough shelves for many action figures, but I can get them.
You can get them.
Yep. They're
can figure out a
easily
way.
built. That'd be awesome. But I digress. So the JSA is making quick work of not just Angleman, but the Bizarros too, working in unison as a team. But Huntress arrives nonetheless to help Jakeem Thunder and the Genie, as Jakeem was about to get punched in the face by a Bizarro, because Genie, despite the fact that Superman is vulnerable to magic, Bizarros being the opposite of everything Superman is, they are now invulnerable to magic, so the Genie is essentially useless, and Jakeem Thunder was in grave danger. But the Huntress arrives, swings in to save him, and help save the day, shooting a crossbow bolt directly into Angleman's hand, having him drop the angle device. I don't remember what it's actually called, but I think it's just called the angle device, and kicks him in the jaw and saves the day. Dr. Fate arrives and explains what's going on with the Huntress, and they all return to the Brownstone to figure out what the hell is going on. So after hearing not Selena, Huntress's story, they begin to discuss what to do next. Helena, yeah.
You're off by the one letter. Nearly there.
Where Alan says they should call in Batman, while Karen thinks that's not a great idea, and others think that maybe they should call in other members of the JSA, including Ted, for whatever reason. But Ted's a smart guy; he knows how to figure stuff out. Huntress agrees, though, that Batman is not such a great idea to call because she does not want her father involved and putting him in even more danger. But before they can figure out what to do next, completely. While they do
Also,
plan, sorry.
I was gonna say also Huntress does not want, or Power Girl does not want Jeff Johns to write Batman again. So, I think she's looking out for us.
That's fair. That's a good idea, Karen Starr. Good on you. Keep that costume. Gosh, I gotta remember for the next issue of Action Comics, I have a gripe about the costumes. Like every
Oh
week,
god.
I see one of the new costume thing. I gotta remember this next issue of Action Comics, so I bring it up, but I keep forgetting.
Uh,
So I might just talk about it since Power Girl's here today. As they decide that they need to try and figure out what the hell is happening with Perdegaton first and find him, instead he finds them first. As he vows that they are about to fall, as we see next issue the death of the JSA. So this current JSA looks fantastic. Like the roster that they have going on right now is a fantastic roster. I think it's great. Alan with a beard, hell yeah.
yeah. Did I say that last
Yes.
week? I
Yeah.
told you it would be
When
worth
you
looking
hinted that,
forward
I was
to.
excited, and
Yeah.
it surpassed
Oh yeah,
every
I told you it
expectation I
does not
had.
disappoint.
It
I like
looks
it. It's a
really
good
good
look
on
for
him.
him.
Yeah. Including Easy Company in this issue was really nice to see. We're getting a lot of
Mhm.
great Sergeant Rock this month, or this year rather. I'm happy about that. Despite the fact that we also saw the death of Sergeant Rock, but
Yeah.
yeah, but it's still cool to see Easy Company getting some love. The time spanning story has me completely hooked. I'm all about this, and it looks amazing. Honestly, all the art that they
Yes.
have in these issues just phenomenal. It's great to look at. And while I'm here now, I do want to just point out my gripe about the new costumes for the super family with the leather jacket. They all look great. I just feel it's taken away from Connor because that was his costume. That was his style. It was his look. He had the black leather jacket and everything, and that was his style. He stood out that way. And now the whole freaking super family has that style, which makes him less special. And I don't like that. I don't appreciate that.
It's true. But
They're
on
they're
the other
defending his
hand, you
style.
could say that Connor's style was just that the rest of the super family had to get in. So really, it makes him look even better.
Yeah, but I don't care
But I hear you.
for what's the word? Uh oh my god. Social media people where that's their job.
Oh, influencers?
Influencer. I don't care for influencers.
no.
That's essentially what Connor just became, and I don't care for that.
Oh, yeah.
Like I agree
It's
with
an
you though.
interesting way to put it.
It's a sick look, and Connor rocked it for a couple of decades, and the rest of the family had to follow suit, except Clark because he knows
Yeah.
better.
Yeah. No,
Uh,
he's not going to Tennessee.
no. Yeah, I'm okay if Clark does not take on that style. The rest of the
Yes,
family,
thank
sure,
God.
not Clark.
Yeah.
As for this issue, though, 8.75 out of 10, solid chapter. I'm loving the hell out of this book. It's an ongoing, right? Please tell me it's an ongoing.
Maybe. I mean, it says
Maybe.
like 12 issue series, but I don't know. That could change. It's hard to
Yeah.
say.
That's my biggest issue with DC right now is every time there's a new book, you have to ask that question: is it
I
ongoing or is
know.
it limited?
Yeah,
Because fuck, every great series seems to be limited.
I
Just
know.
keep
Ever
changing.
since Aquaman, I can't trust in anything. I'm just like, I don't know if it's ongoing or limited. It could literally be anything.
Right.
We don't know.
Yeah.
A comic book shouldn't do that to you.
Yeah.
No.
Shouldn't mess with your emotions like that.
I guess
Definitely
it's
not.
to keep you in suspense, so you'll never know whether it'll keep going for a while or if it'll end after 6 months.
It's
You
the
just
Yeah.
have to
trifle with
live
your
in
heart,
that
man.
constant anxiety. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's comic books. Just constant anxiety.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, what
Well,
did you
I
guys think of
really dug
JSA
this
though?
issue. Yes, no, I really dug this issue. I mean, I'm still just super into this series and the time spanning adventure and everything. And I'm glad that we're in the present day, and it seems like we'll be sticking there for a little while. There, wasn't really a big jump at the end of this issue, so we'll probably be, continuing with this modern version of the JSA, and then maybe do some more time hopping, but with the rest of the crew. But yeah, it was like nice to see the rest of them again. The JSA have been kind of popping up everywhere, but we haven't really had a time to focus on like who's the modern JSA team, and we kind of knew who it was, but now we really have a firm idea. And that was really really great to see. And yes, Rob, as I mentioned last week, it's a fun little Easter egg, but I'm glad you guys finally get to see it. Alan with the beard, very nice look, I have to say. Like it gave me pause for a second. I was like, all right, I'm digging it. It's a good look for the old Sentinel.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Aside from that, just kind of continuing to follow this mystery and everything that's going on with Perdegaton. Bit of a crazy ending now that he's here at the Brownstone, and the JSA are going to have to figure out how to deal with that. Haven't had much luck in the future, and going to turn out here, but we'll have to hope that they can somehow pull it off. But yeah, no, just super invested, wondering what's happening next. And in terms of art, really digging it here. You know, I had some issues, I think, with Mikhail Hanin's art when he was on Batman, but I kind of had to remind myself that, you know, he did Grayson and that looked phenomenal. So I think it was just that type of Batman story was kind of restrictive, but doing JSA with all these different characters, it looks great. And the covers in particular have been really outstanding too. So I'm digging the series. And I don't know if it is 12 issues or if it's ongoing. It says 12, but who knows? That could change. But yeah, I hope it's ongoing because I could easily follow this book for a while. So this one got a 9 out of 10 for me.
Got a 9 out of 10 for me too, man. I mean, per Degaton, we knew that was coming, but it's cool to see him actually show up in the book. All the references, the characters in the story, it's all really, really good JSA. And I mean, jokes aside, you know that's what you're getting from Jeff Johns if he's behind the pen on JSA. No, excuse me. Plus the combined talent of Mikkel Yanin and Jerry Ordway together it's fantastic. It's awesome, man. I'm super into it. I can't wait to see what happens next. I gave it a 9 out of 10.
Hard agree. Yeah, this is awesome. Definitely a runaway hit of the year so far. All right, so with that, we are now going to get into our top 3 books of the week and favorite moment if you had one. Who wants to start us off?
I do. I'm going to give number 3 to Justice Society of America, number 2 to Wildcats, and all of these are really close, man. But number 1, I was blown away by Superman Lost. I thought it was really super good. I love the page, the splash page where Wonder Woman ascended, but that last page of Superman Lost is just flat out awesome. It looks so good. There's like 3 different kinds of art going on there. Superman detailed just perfectly. The trippy abstract art that's behind like geometric abstract art is really cool, where it shows like, I guess, the dimensional fold opening up, and then the space behind it all itself. All of it drawn totally differently. All of it looks fucking amazing. I have to give my favorite moment to that page. It's just gorgeous. Now, what about you guys?
No, your number 2 you said was Wildcats?
My number 2 is Wildcats. JSA Wildcats and Superman Lost.
Right on. Brandon, what about you?
At number 3, I had Batman Inc. Number 2 was Wildcats. Number 5 and number 1, I had to give to JSA. Just really enjoying that. And my favorite moment, which feels kind of safe, but I really just loved it, was that double page spread of the whole JSA fighting against. Well, I guess Angleman, really the kind of zombies that they're going up against, but Angleman is the sort of villain behind it all. But yeah, that splash page was gorgeous. Love to have a print of that.
Mm-hmm. As for me, very similar to Josh's, while in a different order. At number 3, I had Wildcats number 5. Number 2, I had JSA number 3. But at number 1, I also had Superman Lost number 1. And I just want to put a prediction out there, Brandon. If you did get a chance to read Superman Lost, I suspect this would have been in your top 3 as well. I just suspect.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to check it out
Yeah.
now.
Yeah,
I felt
I'm
bad not
excited
being
to
able to
hear
see
your
it.
thoughts after you do read
Oh,
it.
yeah, okay.
If you feel like sharing, yes.
Yeah.
Favorite moment though, honestly, same as Brandon's. It was the same. There wasn't honestly, for all the issues, as good as they were, not many moments stood out for me. I mean, maybe the hug between Cass and Girl Bat Steph was really nice, but seeing the JSA fight together on that opening splash page was just so choice. It was beautiful to look at. It was great to see after all this time. And I agree.
Also, there's something.
I'd get a print of that too.
Oh yeah. Also, there's something so hilariously blunt about Power Girl saying, in the midst of all this battle, "Where the hell is Superman?" I don't know what it was. But like, for some reason, that kind of just made me laugh. Like they're in the middle of this thing.
This is
Like, where
his
the fuck
best,
is
damn it.
he? Yeah. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Where? Come on, man. Like, do you not see everything that's going on right now with all these Bizarros? Where the hell
Yeah.
are you?
This is shit.
Yeah, it was funny. Very reminiscent of like a Guardians of the Galaxy opener or something like that.
No, seriously.
Yeah. All right, so that was our favorite moment, and now it's time for your favorite moments. It is
The biggest thinker.
Oh, that's nasty.
But not too bad this week, really.
yeah. Did you guys have anything?
I mean, nothing that was particularly terrible, but the weakest one for me was probably the Lazarus Planet Revenge of the Gods.
Yeah, that one is actually on. That's my biggest stinker of the week. I genuinely did not really enjoy that one. So everything else was great though.
Yeah.
Josh, you had anything?
I mean, my lowest scored issue was Batgirls, and I know I like to be tough on Conrad and Clunan, but it doesn't really deserve to be on the stink list.
No.
It was okay. Didn't hate
Yeah.
it.
Right on. So there you go. Solid week all around. Except for me, because I'm a stickler apparently. Yeah. Well, with that is our show. Now, remember, you can help support us by going to buymeacoffee.com/NAR podcast. Check us out on Twitter at Not a Robot Comics, Instagram at NAR Comic Books, and subscribe to our Substack for bonus reviews, articles, and more. And as always, there's only one way we say goodbye around here. Until next time.
Be good to each other.
And don't be a robot.
That was a fun one. Yeah, it's funny, Josh, when you mentioned the McFarlane Superman, I was like, which one could he be talking about? Because I imagine there were a ton. So I
Yeah.
did a little digging, and I kind of went down the rabbit hole. And
Oh.
I must have completely missed this, but there's a McFarlane version of the War World Superman.
Yeah, I saw that
Did you guys
shit,
see
dude.
that? Yeah, it's like $16, and I must have it. So I caved, and I like it's this is actually becoming kind of bad because like it was back to back. I had that, and then the Kyle Rayner, the one that you got, the Brightest Day version, or I forget which one it is exactly, but it's like the one with the green tunic. That one was for a very reasonable price, so I caved and I got both of them. So they'll be coming this Saturday.
That one?
Ugh. And now I have 3 more McFarlane figures when
Wait.
previously I had none. So Rob,
talk-
this is all your fault.
You're talking about the
I
middle
have
one,
to
right?
agree with you. I now
Yeah,
have
no, that
3
one.
of
That's
them.
the one with the
Okay.
sword. Yeah.
But So that's the one that comes with the sword, though.
Wait, okay, I'm confused.
Wait,
This
no,
one,
hang on. No, sorry, my mistake. That one does come with 2 swords, right?
Yeah, because this
Yeah,
one,
sorry.
the pose shows it with a sword.
Yeah, I
But
forgot because I
I
took
couldn't.
those swords and put it on John and Kyle, or John and
Yeah.
Al rather.
This is all your fault.
No,
I hate you.
Brandon.
I have
Hate
4
you.
swords.
Why did you do this? You know what the problem is? They just like they're such good-looking figures. It's hard
Yeah.
to resist. It really is. Like I
And-
saw the sculpt for the world and I couldn't believe it. It was like right out of the pages of Action.
It looks really cool.
How-
What
I know. How
have
could
to
you
do now,
not pick it
Brandon?
up? Oh God.
Get a figure stand.
Oh yeah. No, I need to.
Yeah,
Because I
yeah.
I showed you the pose I wanted to do with Grifter where he's like midair with
I
the
know,
sword,
right,
but I don't have a
Yeah.
I don't have a pose for that. Or I don't have a
Yeah.
poser for that, so I need to get one of those. But yeah.
Can you see
So
the Robin King?
bad. I
It
can
looks
see
so
the
good.
Robin King, and he's just as frightful as he was 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And I got the Batman as well. And he looks freaking awesome. And that
No.
also, Brandon, is all Rob's fault.
Very much so.
No shit. This is
I
what
hope
I
you're
find
happy
hilarious.
with yourself.
This is what I find hilarious. I was only after the McFarlane figures for the Green Lantern figures. And I got them all except for John Stewart that I'm missing. But I'm debating on it because it's the exact same as the Endless Winter one. It just
Yeah.
has more constructs. So I'm done. But I think you guys are gonna keep going.
I know. I'm telling you, this was like a psyop. This was all planned.
I'm either
one is
going
that good.
I
for
was
like,
in it for a mission and I completed my mission and you guys are screwed.
yeah. See, well, I had to, because this Wonder Woman is so fucking sweet. I had to complete the set. I couldn't just have a box laying around with a fucking couple of extra body parts in it. I had to
That's fair.
complete the set. It's just no question. Now my mission is I'm trying to pick between 2 of them. One of them is gonna be is gonna be impossible to complete, but I want to either do the extended Bat Family or the extended Justice League.
That
And
I don't know if it's
I would-
possible to really complete either with McFarlane. I don't think they've done all of them.
I mean, there's at least like the 7.
Most
right?
of the Justice League. Yeah, there's Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, of course, Green Lantern. There is a Green Arrow. At least in Justice Green Arrow. I don't know which other ones. I think they've done Hawkgirl. They've done Cyborg. I know they've done Martian Manhunter. Flash, I'm not sure about though. I
Oh,
think
they
no. There's a
will
death.
have.
There's a death metal series for the Flash family. There's
There's
Jay,
a whole
Wally,
speed metal series
Ace,
and it looks
Barry.
pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would want a costume that's not the blue suit Wally though.
What the?
The
Oh,
Punch him
man,
in that
come on,
Wally.
Manhattan
dude.
one.
The Manhattan one looks cool.
Yeah.
I don't want a figure of that though. I want the costume they have for Wally right now, which I'm sure they're gonna do at some point.
No,
'Cause, I mean, they've been sitting on that one for a while.
at least until. But here's the catch. It's the Diodato mold.
Oh God, don't even say that.
What?
Yeah. Well, it's
That's
the sad thing is like I love the costume that he has right now, but that costume it's not actually new. It was originally designed for Flash Rebirth, as I'm sure you
Yeah.
might know. But the artist of Flash Rebirth, who shall remain unnamed because he's a horrible
Yeah.
person,
Dick.
is not someone I want to give credit to.
Yeah. Oh, trust me, the Green Lantern fandom knows exactly how that feels.
Yeah, that pain. I'm sure. It's a shame
Easily,
too.
like,
'Cause
Some
The
all
Flash
of the
book
best
has
Green
been
Lantern
bringing
stories
back
are written
art.
by assholes.
Yeah.
Or created by assholes. J.G. Jones.
Exactly.
EVS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
EVS. Ugh.
And then there's the Nightfall
Is
series.
somebody
coming out.
typing?
Not me.
Nope.
Oh, that was weird. Okay. Anyway. I interrupted somebody. I'm not sure who.
I just remembered I was gonna say something like 5 minutes ago and I just forgot. I was mentioning the Nightfall series coming out soon that I imagine both of you guys want to get your hands on. The Batman.
Yeah,
fucking-
no, I've already
the
got
Nightfall
the
set.
Batman and Robin practically pre-ordered. It's too good to be true.
Yeah.
That's really the only set that I want, but I want to know what all the figures are before
I
buy it.
think it's really just Azrael and Catwoman. And then
Yeah,
I don't.
and Bane.
It might be they're just releasing those two as a pair, and then Catwoman and Azrael and Bane they did previously. Excuse me.
So no dick.
No dick. I mean,
No,
that depends if
unfortunately.
you get Batman and Catwoman together, but
Oh, God. I was really holding out for that 90s wing costume, but I'm
I
afraid
know.
we'll have to wait till another day.
one day.